everybody, and welcome to another board game discussion video. In today's video I'm going to be talking all about playing games frequently or infrequently and what is right or wrong about it. Now that said, before I get started, if you haven't done so, please take a look at all my social media pages and my Patreon page where you can see all sorts of cool stuff and do all sorts of cool stuff as well. Moving right on into it though, as just like generally what I'll be discussing today are like how frequently should you play a game? What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? And particularly I'm going to be talking about big games, small games, and generally the environment in which at least I play, and I'm curious about what you guys think about it. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below. How frequently do you think you should play a game, specific type of game, or a specific game itself? Anything along those lines. What makes sense to you? What makes sense to your group? Please, as always, let me know in the comments. That said, moving right into big games. So I'm talking about like even Eclipse or Exodus or like big miniatures games, Twilight Imperium, Axis and Allies, these really huge table sprawling games that take hours and hours and hours to play. They tend to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of interactivity, there's a lot of strategy behind it, and they are good games. But honestly, doing it once in a blue moon is more than enough for me, because sometimes like it just makes my head hurt, and it's one of those things where like I play it once, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I feel good about it. I'm not bored of the game, but it's just like, I want to do other things. Those types of games have that immediate effect on me. It's not something that I immediately want to do again. I sort of want to digest it, just be like, yeah, that was a really fun experience type of thing. And you don't get that with small games. With small games, rather, you're talking about multiple plays at a time, potentially. You're talking about several plays during a week. It's not something you have to plan out like a bigger game. With bigger games, I plan it out at least a few days, if not a week or more in advance, that I'm going to play it. You know, if I'm going to spend 3-4 hours at least playing a single game, then I want to make sure that I know when it's going to be and how it's going to happen. With small games, that's normally the impromptu things that we always end up with, and I think it's more important for those games to have higher replay value because we play them more frequently, because they're easier, they're more simple to set up, they're easier to do. Granted, games like Twilight Imperium and Eclipse, they are incredibly deep strategic games that do have a lot of replay value, but honestly, for me personally at least, it's not super necessary because I just don't play them very much. That said, there are plenty of small games that I just really don't like anymore. For example, Smash Up or Munchkin and things like that, where they're small, they're simple, but I just don't really like them as much as I used to, which brings me to my last point of your gaming group and the environment in which you can play. Most of my gaming happens at my friendly local game store, so that means that relatively short time periods, generally the same people, but sometimes new groups, so you're not entirely certain what everybody wants to do, so you want to make sure that everybody is happy. So generally small games are better off. The other thing too is it becomes a little bit more difficult to plan something if you have to do it at a store as opposed to hosting a game night at your home or something along those lines. So as always, I'm just curious what you guys think about this, because for me, playing larger games a whole lot gets stale much faster than it does for small games. For example, Sheriff of Nottingham, I could easily play 2-3 times a day because I really enjoy it. It's a game that I find tremendously fun. I really like it. But if I try to do the same thing with even like Game of Thrones, not even something as big as Twilight Imperium, but something that's still really big, I would be like, I played it once and like, now I'm kind of full. I'm full on that game type of thing. It's not that I'm bored of it. It's not that I don't want to play it again. It's just that I need a break from it. So I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this. Do you get bored of small games quickly as well as bigger games? Are you all about playing larger games multiple times, like say on a weekend you just do like marathon play sessions or something like that? I'm really curious what you guys have to say. But that's what I think about it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's enough rambling for me, but thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.